Hello everyone and welcome to another Heffy Doodle video. Today I'm using the giveaway set Sticky Friends by Heffy Doodle to create a card good enough for any crafty friend. I am breaking out my Fisker's stamp press to do some multiple stamping. I have Memento Tuxedo Black ink and I'm stamping on Simon Says Stamp Fog cardstock. I'm just inking up the glue bottle from the Sticky Friends stamp set and stamping a random as possible pattern onto my background. Now this I stamp it down and I let the dye ink seep into the paper a little bit, so I hold it for a couple seconds and then lift it up. I do that with the Misty too. I'm going to cut this panel down with this Your Next Stamp stitched rectangle die. It's the second from largest and I use it all the time. So I'm randomly checking the pattern with that die to see where things need to go. But I'm just doing it as random as possible so that there isn't any rhyme or reason for the background. Adding a little bit of the top or a little bit of the back, upside down, sideways, however it fits onto the panel. So then I'm going to cut this down and I'm going to color with my Gold Faber colored pencils. This is how I store them. I usually store some sandpaper, a blending stump, these erasers, a super cheap pencil sharpener. I have this Tombow Mono, it's like a square eraser, and then I have this more pointy one. I would like to get a really small one at some point too, but this is how I store them. I also have this magnetic bowl that I put all my pencil shavings in, and then I dump them in the trash. So it has a few pockets in the front, and then you can flip through and even take out the pencil storage. So if you want to take out one of these colored, I don't know, but I've never taken them out, but you can do it if you want. So what I do is I lay down a little bit of color and then I blend the pigment. No Gamsol is involved in this. There's no material, there's no solution. It's just simply blending the pigment that is already on the paper from the pencil. And then to switch colors, I use the sandpaper to shave off a little bit of the color that ends up on the blending stump. So has anyone realized that my husband shaved his head? And it's terrible. I hate it. I hate his haircut. So he pops in here in a few seconds, and I just want to warn you that I asked him to trim his beard because he was looking homeless, and he ended up shaving his head and trimming the beard down to a goatee, which I like the goatee, but the bald head is killing me. So I had to make fun of him a little bit. But anyway, I add a little bit of pigment to the paper and blend it out with the stump. And then I go back in with a little bit more color from the pencil. This is one shade per color. There's no multiple shades. And then I usually use one color at a time. So I do all the orange, or I do all the red, or I do all the green. And then I do the white, or I do the gray, or whatever colors I'm using. And that way I'm shaving down the stump after each color. And because you can transfer, the pigment is strong enough that you can transfer the color from one blend to another, even with no solution. And I've found that with all the pencils, not just these Gold Faber pencils, but with Prismacolor as well. I have ordered some polychromos, and I'm excited to be playing with those in the near future. They're on the way to me. But this is my background. This is how it turned out. And we're going to stamp the sentiment, the large stamp sentiment from the Sticky Friends stamp set. This is Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I do stamp this twice. It's a very bold sentiment. I love it. But I did stamp it twice to get a nice dark stamped image. So I've got a piece of lawn fawn black licorice cardstock and the little sub sentiment that says because of all the glue, and I'm using Hero Arts ultrafine white embossing powder to emboss that. Stamped it with my Versamark ink cube and prepped it with my EK Success powder tool. And I have the heat gun locked and loaded on the corner of my work surface there, so it is heating up the entire time so that I can quickly do it. I'm using the strips of ease die to cut out that little sub sentiment. I did it twice because the first time was really wonky. Seriously, even with the strips of ease, I can still manage to get it wonky. Anyway, I've got some double-sided adhesive and I'm adhering this black craft foam to the back of my background piece, like so. And I've cut that weird speech bubble / teardrop shape that I used my brother's scan and cut to cut that shape out. I think it's a very interesting shape, and that's why I used it, but I got that from my brother's scan and cut. And then I'm just using some Scotch 3M foam tape to adhere the sentiments onto the front of the front panel. And then I've got my little syringe full of adhesive. This is Ranger Multimedia Matte, and I'm adhering some Studio Katya Satin Rainbow sequins. These are there's no hole to the sequins. Are they still sequins if there's no hole? Not sure. This is the Jelly Roll Stardust shimmer pen, and I'm just making my little labels of the glue bottles super shimmery, and it looks super pretty. I suggest that you visit Heffy Doodle and sign up for the newsletter. Those that receive the newsletter get up-to-date information and special treats from Heffy Doodle. Be sure to subscribe for even more crafty fun and find us on social media.